Welcome back, Patriots, for another episode of the Bald Brad Show, where we break down all the major news you need to know about. There's a lot of news regarding what happened yesterday with Old Dominion. I believe it was Old Dominion. Could be wrong on that one. There's a suspected terror probe. And then looks like there's something going on with the Christians. And we'll make sure we break everything down for you as well. Furthermore, it's also the end of the week. Thank God. I think we're all there on the same page on that one. It's the end of the week. We're heading into the weekend. So hopefully we have a nice, relaxing pina colada on the beach, baby. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. God bless you, sir. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Well, let's get into this really quick. We'll get into some random news. Again, we're going to kind of not hopefully today spend too much time on one single article. Again, it's the end of the day. End of the week, kind of the news dump of the week. So appreciate all you guys giving me the happy birthdays. Thank you so much. That's kind of you guys. God bless you. All right. Trump warns Iran as U.S.-Israel strikes cripple military. So strikes began February 28th under U.S. Operation Epic Fury, which I still love the naming. Whoever's doing the naming over there in the Trump administration's killing it. No pun intended. And Israel's roaring lion hitting Iran's missile sites, navy, air defenses, and leadership, deleting Supreme Leader the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei and leaving his son as acting leader. Now, there's reports coming out with his son that he's in a coma. You know, he got really messed up with some of these strikes. His leg was amputated, was one article that I read. Still trying to wake up. And, you know, with that type of stuff, you know, you never know. The guy could be completely fine living in a cave somewhere in Pakistan down the street from a military base. If nobody got that reference, I'm talking that's how Osama bin Laden got away, right? The guy was down the street from like a mile from a military base or something like that, maybe less than that, or like next to some government building for like a decade, dude. Homie was just chilling. Yeah, they didn't know. Sure they didn't. Uh-huh. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. By the way, thank you for all the happy birthday wishes. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, turning 55. Some people spit out their coffee like, there's no way, dude. It's 37, okay? Simmer down. All right, simmer down. All right, here's Trump. We're totally destroying the terrorist regime of Iran, militarily, economically, and otherwise. Yet, if you read the failing New York Times, you would incorrectly think that we are not winning. Iran's navy is gone. Their air force is no longer. Missiles, drones, and everything else are being decimated, and their leaders have been wiped from the face of the earth. We have unparalleled firepower, unlimited ammunition, and plenty of time. Watch what happens to these deranged scumbags today. They've been deleting innocent people all over the world for 47 years, and now I, as the 47th president of the United States of America, am killing them. What a great honor it is to do so. Jeez, bro. Jeez, dude. Trump is such a savage, man. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Oh my God, dude. Oh, baby, you ain't getting words like that from Joey, are you? Let me zoom in for you guys. There you go. That's a heck of a Truth Social post if I've ever seen one. Wow, But he's not wrong. He is absolutely correct. What's crazy is a part of me is like, okay, yeah, it's the mainstream media, the New York Times, if you want to call them mainstream, definitely leans left, doesn't want to paint Trump in like a positive light, nor Israel. God forbid you do either one of those. There's definitely that element that's in my mind, but then there's also the element of maybe they're just stupid. And I'm talking about the New York Times, maybe because we haven't really seen a war in so long. And some of these people are new. I'd have to see who's writing this stuff. Some of these people are new. They didn't grow up with like the Gulf War, the Iraq War, the war on Afghanistan. Like these aren't obviously designated wars by Congress, but we call it like the war on terror. There you go. The war on terror was kind of the headline that a lot of people use as well. And maybe some of these people that are just young don't really know what it's like. And to have air superiority where you're just flying, you don't have to worry about anything. That's like, I don't want to say it's unheard of, but we control, if you control the skies, you control everything. That's exactly what we did during the Gulf War. I mean, pretty much anything, right? You go in, you take out their comms. It's like one of the first things you do. And then you try to get air superiority, which we have. We did both already, by the way. And now you're just picking off things left and right. That's all you're doing. So I don't know where the New York Times, if this is true, what Trump is saying, is getting this from. Of, oh, we're not winning. Really? First of all, even hearing that, you would have to ask questions. Do you know what I mean? When somebody's like, yeah, we're not doing so well in Iran. It's like, can we back up a moment and kind of think about that? Doesn't that sound a little bit odd, a little bit weird, a little bit fishy? Again, we're going to be going over a ton of different news today. Okay, so let's get into the Old Dominion University gunman identified as ex-National Guardsman turned ISIS operative. So here we go. Truthfully, it's going to sound crazy. So busy yesterday, I actually don't know anything about this story. I heard it, I retweeted it, but I just heard that there was something going on, retweeted it. I was so swamped with work. No idea. So I'm going to be in this with you guys. If you know something I don't know, please throw it in the chat or the comment section. Thank you very much. The gunman who opened fire at Old Dominion University in Norfolk, Virginia. This is definitely not the thing that I retweeted yesterday. So this is news to me. Okay. So I'm just getting in this with you guys. I apologize. On Thursday has been identified as Mohammed. Okay, Muhammad. Let's just look. We're gonna have a little bit, like a cat. If we had to pick, if I gave you a multiple choice question, thank you for all the happy birthdays, you guys. I appreciate that. Yeah, you're so nice to me. Thank you. If you're gonna do A, B, C, D, right, and one of them was Muhammad, come on. That's like the teacher's giving me a freebie, huh? So, like, we're having fun with it. This is terrible, but it's dark. It's dark. But you all know which one you would pick. If I said A, B, C, D, and C was Muhammad, everybody's picking C. It's a shoo-in answer. It's easy. The other selections are Ryan, Chris, and Matt. Come on. So he was identified a former National Guard soldier who was previously convicted of supporting ISIS, according to multiple reports. I mean, at what point, and we asked this the other day, with what happened in Austin with the Allah sweater guy going and shooting up 6th Street, to the stuff on Southwest Airlines, to now you got these guys shouting Allah Akbar, these ISIS terrorists over there in New York City. Now you got this taking place. I mean, at what point do you start saying, yeah, you know what, maybe some of these sleeper cells have been activated and they are doing it? I thought you were going to try to pronounce the name. I know you guys love that stuff. Give me a moment. Let me try it. Buckle up, Brad. Here we go. Mohammed Baylor Hula. I don't know. Stop that. I know you guys get a kick out of me not being able to read people's names. Well, he's discussed plans to carry out a Fort Hood style attack with a government informant he believed was an ISIS terrorist. What an idiot. And he was sentenced to 11 years behind bars, an additional 5 years of supervised release. You think this guy learned his lesson? I don't know, dude. Oh, so he was let out. Oh my God. Okay. The dude was sentenced to 11 years behind bars, an additional 5 years of supervised release. He was let out in early December 2024, according to the New York Post. He traveled to Africa with his father in 2015, where he met an ISIS recruiter, according to NBC4. That same year, he went to Sierra Leone to stay with the group of facilitator and planned to go to Libya to join the terrorist organization, but that never happened. At one point, he ventured to, was that Niger? To join ISIS and even boarded a truck full of other terror recruits, but bailed out after 18 hours. Pussy! Just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. I'm sorry. According to NBC4. He praised the gunman who deleted 5 soldiers in Chattanooga, Tennessee in early July 2015. To the informant, according to the Department of Justice, he also sent $500 to a man he believed was an ISIS member who was actually an undercover FBI agent. Wow, so they just were on top of this guy from the get-go. He pleaded guilty in October 2015 to attempting to provide material support to ISIS. This individual was a naturalized American citizen from Sierra Leone, stormed into a classroom on Thursday and asked if it was an ROTC course, according to New York Post. When someone confirmed that it was, he opened fire, shooting the professor several times. God. The professor, a retired military officer, died at the hospital, according to the news outlet. One of the students heroically stabbed the individual to death to stop him from harming others. Wow, what a hero. Whoever that is. Sheesh, dude. Whoever that student is, shout out to that person. Kash Patel confirmed on X that one person is deleted and 2 others were wounded in the shooting. The shooter, he said, is now deceased thanks to a group of brave students. Yeah, this is... Find who these are. Send those guys or gals to the White House. Who stepped in and subdued him. Actions that undoubtedly saved lives along with the quick response of law enforcement. Shout out to those students, man. Those are heroes. Saved a lot of people. I wonder what they deleted the guy with. With a pencil? You think they got him with a stapler? Getting a little crafty. Joint Terrorism Task Force is fully engaged and embedded with local authorities. So if you're here's the thing. And maybe you guys can let me know in the chat. If they're following this guy for so long, right? And this guy's like, yeah, you know, I want to do this crazy stuff, blah, blah, blah. Why was he able to pull this off? The shooting occurred hours before an attacker rammed... Okay, so this is the part that I saw. Shooting occurred hours before an attacker rammed a vehicle in a Michigan synagogue. That's what I thought this was referring to, because that's what I retweeted yesterday, was I saw this going on in the news, this breaking on Nick Sorter's X page. That's what I thought this was referring to. So this is a whole separate attack as well. Interesting. Yeah. So that's what I thought this article was when I first read it. I was like, oh yeah, you know, I got the glimpse. I don't know what the details are of this, just because work has been hectic, but and not in a bad way. I love it, but okay. So how is this guy able to do this then? If you're tracking him and you're trying to pay, and you're basically paying off, rogue enforcement guys, not rogue you understand what I mean? Like undercover guys. So how are you able to get this off if we've been tracking you? This is a little bit of a fail of our 3-letter agencies, it seems like. I don't know if there's some sort of gripe with the professor, or this was supposed to be a bigger attack. I'm really thankful that these students stood up and saved a bunch of people's lives. As you wrote in the chat, they are heroes. But I see another ISIS operative like this. And then, like you mentioned, in what took place down here in Michigan as well, with a guy trying to go into a synagogue / school, because sometimes they're connected. I don't know. It seems like these are activating. Why wasn't he deported? I don't know. When they when he was released or whatever, I'm right there with you. I don't know. I think we do know. Maybe there's some, lefty or whatever. It's like, it's just, look, he did his time. He paid back to the community, and he deserves 150 chances. Terrible that professor. So it looks like this is the individual that I think was unfortunately deleted. I think it was this guy. Lieutenant Colonel Brandon Shaw was identified as the instructor deleted by the terrorist shooter who opened fire. So it was this gentleman right here. Man, the guy's decorated too, huh? Jeez. Gets deleted in his own country by probably guys that he fought against too. You know what I mean? Gotta get you ramped up, doesn't it? It pisses me off. The guys here at home, you know what I mean? Protected this country, and then because we have politicians that don't want to protect domestically, this guy gets deleted. And it seems like a failure of the three-letter agencies again. If you were tracking, I'm just going to start ranting, get pissed off. It's Friday. I want to have a good day. Shah was fatally deleted and shot by a terrorist, a former National Guard soldier who was previously convicted of supporting ISIS. According to multiple reports, he was naturalized American citizen from Sierra Leone, which we covered. After someone confirmed that the RTC course, he shot the professor several times. Shah was a decorated military hero who served the United States in major war zones. Yep, there you go. He enlisted in the Army in 2003 as an aviation operations specialist and later obtained the rank of sergeant, according to university. Yeah, so terrible. Really, really terrible. That's sad, man. And it pisses me off. And you know what? You know who it doesn't piss off? The lefties. Well, what was he doing there? Teaching a course, working, serving. Things that maybe you should be doing if you weren't on your couch with potato chips trying to do your makeup. I don't know. Just made up something. Didn't really work, but you know what I mean. Alrighty, well, let's get into some other news here. Let's see what we have, because that was sad. That was kind of a little bit of shock for me, and I'm being, you guys know I'm genuine with you. I really didn't know that happened. I thought that was the Michigan thing, and that's the thing I was going to cover, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I thought nobody was injured. The last I heard on the Michigan thing, nobody was injured. Thank God. I was like, first I heard, oh, there's an active shooter at an Israel synagogue thing. I'm like, oh my God, here we go. That sucks. That's terrible. I got to go do my own thing. I'll cover it tomorrow. I thought that was it. I guess not. Now there's another one. Here we go. So this is the temple one. This is the temple. This is the synagogue, I believe, Jewish one. FBI trained Michigan temple how to stop a shooter just weeks before attack. This is very common in any school system now. Is usually local law enforcement will actually practice when obviously students aren't there. They will practice these active shooter situations pretty often. FBI agents provided an active shooter training seminar for leadership and staff at Temple Israel, especially if it's a Jewish like school. Those guys definitely are always hyper vigilant on what the heck is going on, and rightfully so, because there's a bunch of psychos out there. Just 6 weeks before an armed security at the synagogue successfully stopped a shooter on campus. Whoa. You're telling me a good guy deleted a bad guy with a gun? I was told guns don't work. I was told we don't need guns in schools. They're icky. Yeah, it shouldn't feel like a prison. Oh, gotcha. So when good guy with gun does his job, all of a sudden, we're good. Saves everybody. Nobody gets injured. Huh. Yeah, I know. It sounds like common sense, right? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. FBI of Detroit led an active shooter prevention and preparedness training. I've been in these trainings for schools. Now, is it really that helpful? Honestly, no. Because at the end of the day, you can listen to somebody talk, but if you're not actively going through it, that's the real training, going through it, then you're just going to lock up and freeze during one of these. I've been in a situation for one of these before, not somebody on campus, but like an actual real lockdown and stuff like that. It's pretty sketch. But you got to think, and you're going to have a bunch of students looking at you for to make some calls. FBI Detroit led an active shooter attack prevention and preparedness training for the clergy and staff of Temple Israel in West Bloomfield. The FBI course combines lessons learned from years of research and employs scenario-based exercises to help participants practice the decision-making. There you go. Good. Run, hide, fight. And so if you ever been in one of these, basically you actually do the drill and they'll have somebody that's playing out as the active shooter, and they'll try to open up your room and they'll go full blown. They'll do anything they can. They'll walk in and, hey, you know what? You might be the one that you got deleted. And then they'll go on the next one. It's supposed to be, and it also helps the local law enforcement as well. Right? Come in, practice, see where the guy's at, stuff like that. It's sad that we have to do that nowadays, but especially at a Jewish facility, the more times you do it, especially for staff, the better they're prepared. Now, dude, if I was a teacher at a Jewish school, bro, I would highly want to be packing some heat. I don't want to be told, because when they do this part, this fight part, you know what they tell you to do? And I'm not kidding. They tell you to use a stapler, use a pencil. That's why I brought that stuff up before with, unfortunately, the gentleman, the professor that was deleted by the ISIS terrorist yesterday or the day before, whenever that happened. They tell you to fight with a pencil. So another multiple choice question. You have to fight an active shooter who has, let's be silly. Let's just say a 22. He just has a 22, little BB gun. But you have a pencil. Who's going to win? Just with the 22, who's going to win? We know. Now, if you think you're going to win, you got some issues, brother. You got some issues. You ain't winning that. Maybe if you got lucky, right? You're on PCP, take a few rounds to the chest. You know what I mean? You get them. Maybe that's you winning. You winning was you just deleting the guy. You're gone too after you bleed out. But yeah, they want you to fight with the pencil. I'm not kidding. Whereas stapler. Please understand, I've been through these every single year for a decade, sometimes multiple times a year. You have to go through these. It's part of it. I would rather have a firearm and protect the kids and my life too. At least give me a fighting chance here. Now, here's the problem. You have a bunch of psychos that are teachers that, might end up unloading on people because they snapped one day. So I think there's, that whole involvement. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. I think it's Ohio that allows their teachers to strap. There's some places in the country that teachers are allowed to carry. And I would be one of those if I was allowed to. 100% without a doubt. Oh, we'll make the kids nervous. Really? Because some of these kids, parents are cops. Some of them are FBI agents. What are you talking about? Some of these kids have their own firearm or whatever, or go shooting with their parents. Maybe not have their own firearm because there's laws around that, but you understand what I mean. Some of them still do, and their parents kind of like, okay, well, we're just not going to say anything. John Wick did wonders with a pencil. John Wick, yeah. All right, so as the Daily Wire initially reported, a security guard at the synagogue engaged the attacker and shots were fired. The shooter was found dead in the vehicle. One security guard was injured after he was hit by the attackers. I want to know if that security guard was like some low-key, previous IDF military guy, or even United States military. You know what I mean? Because usually these Jewish schools, man, they don't mess around with security, bro. They're getting some tactical guys that have seen some shit. They've been through some stuff, and you crash your vehicle. The guy moved so fast to remove this guy from the situation. The guy didn't even get out of his car. You know what I mean? Shout out to the security. If this guy does not get a promotion, I think all the parents in the community should be rallying behind this security guard. And I'm talking that bump in pay. How much do you think this guy's pay should increase? You know what I mean? He doesn't need cosmetic to make his pee-pee bigger. That sucker is dragging on the floor and he was still able to get there in time. So shout out to that security guard for saving everybody's life. That guy is a hero. And I'm not exaggerating. He deserves a parade. That's what I'm talking about. The Republican Jewish Coalition commented on the fortuitous timing, there's a word for you, at 6:30 in the morning, of the training, saying in an X post, the FBI led an active shooter attack prevention and preparedness training. It really looks good for Kash Patel to see that his crew, the boots on the ground, were the ones that were kind of in control of the situation. So here's a little bit of a video. It looks like, is this the, that's the old Dominion one. So there's some also reports of this going on right now, an hour ago. I'm not sure why, but it says, I think this has to do with the Homeland Security thing. Is going to be my guess. You know how is it Homeland Security that's not getting funding, or is it DHS? One of those two is not getting funding, maybe both. And so I guess the TSA lines are long. Look at this thing. Holy crap. The TSA line at Austin Airport is out the door and down the street. Look at this thing. Oh, Lordy. Damn, dude. Bro. I guess we're going back to showing up 5 hours before your flight. You might as well drive. Does it get any more? Miriam is like our token black sister in our chat. We love her to death. Miriam, is this not stereotypical? Oh god. Anywho, I love it. I love it. You know, the left can't laugh at something like that. You know what I mean? Like, I was always said, racism's evil. We don't like it. We could poke fun. People poke fun at me all the time for being a white guy. I don't care. I think it's all fun. We all love each other. Like, yeah, I don't know. Alrighty, let's see what's going on in some other news here. By the way, thank you guys for the birthday wishes. I really appreciate it. That's nice of you guys. It was funny. I remember I told you I was going to forget. Last night, this had to be like 9. It was late last night. And my wife goes, "Oh yeah, don't forget, like, we're going to do a dinner thing for your birthday." And I said, "Oh yeah. Holy crap. My birthday is tomorrow." Last night. It sounds like I'm making it up. I'm really not. With the job and being busy with that, and I'm just like that with my birthday. I've been that way. I remembered this morning because the only reason I remembered was because I knew you guys, because you're always coming in hot and always supporting me. I knew you guys would come in and say happy birthday, and I appreciate that. That's really, really nice of you guys. All right. Enough about me. Here we get in. Ben Shapiro, I guess, called out Megyn Kelly. I guess there's some drama going on here. The feud traces back to Charlie Kirk's assassination on September 10th at Utah Valley University. Man, he's greatly missed, dude. I miss that guy. Every time I see one of his videos pop up, I will watch it, but man, it's a punch in the gut. Because it's just like he's here, but he's not, you know? Where 22-year-old Tyler Robinson faces the death penalty, Owens has pushed conspiracy theories implicating Kirk's widow Erica and Turning Point executives, drawing Shapiro's criticism of her and Kelly's reluctance to speak out. There's something weird going on with this, right? With like Candace, Tucker, Fuentes. I don't know, dude. It's really, really strange to me, like watching these people kind of evolve from where Candace was at. Where'd she go from? She went from like PragerU to TPUSA to the Daily Wire. Now she's doing her own show. But watching that progression of how she's like, I don't know, like I can't tell if she's just gone down that rabbit hole. You know how some people go down those rabbit holes with conspiracy theories and it just totally fries them? I've seen it happen in people's lives, and it's really dark where like you start questioning your own like loved ones, you know, you start questioning your kids. Are you really my kid? Are you some like alien being? That's being really silly in a way, but there are people like that, and you know what I'm talking about, where they just go really, really far down the road with it, and it just, you know, it almost turns into an Alex Jones, except Alex Jones is somewhat still coherent, you know what I mean? And then Tucker, I mean, if you watch it from the early days when he had a bow tie to when he put on the tie, right? He's working for Fox News. And I liked his show. I liked Tucker Carlson. I was really excited for him to have his own network and stuff. He's, I don't know, just pushing. And then you got Nick Fuentes, who I don't even listen to, so I can't even comment on that. And while Kelly accuses him of trying to exclude conservatives like Owens, Carlson, and Piers Morgan, the clash exposes divides over loyalty, conspiracies, and Israel policy, with no side backing down 6 months after his death. So here's Shapiro. Don't worry, Megyn. I've never asked you to protect me. You won't even protect Charlie's widow from the monster accusing her of murdering Charlie. Whoa. Ben coming out swinging. We call him the Hebrew Hammer, baby. Megyn Kelly says, poor little Ben. I do mean little. Come on. Despite for me to protect him, can you imagine being this emasculated? Here, sad. The problem with this tweet, and the reason why I was like, come on, is Ben's like 5'10". He's like 5'9", 5'10", which is actually still pretty tall. What, he's supposed to be like 6 feet or something? Is that what's not going to call you like little? I'm pretty sure if I have this correct, Ben is 5'9" or 5'10" or something like that. So he's not a small guy. And maybe he is like 5'6", I don't know, but he is not a small guy. So I don't know why they're calling him little Ben. It's a little odd to me. Then Candace Owens says here, this is right. I think it's just the one I saw yesterday. I'm not even gonna bother with it. I don't even want to bother with it. I'm not big into that drama stuff. So there you have it. That's what's going on with Ben Shapiro, Megyn Kelly, and others. If you want to know anything about me, my personal, I don't like drama. I'll just remove myself from it. I don't like really much gossip. I don't like hearing it. I don't want to be around it. I can care less what somebody has to gossip about somebody else because people embellish things all the time. I would rather remove myself from that. I don't care. And if it continues, I end up just removing people from my life. I don't like that. So that's the most amount of drama you're probably going to get here on my channel. Let's see what people are saying. I stopped listening to both of them years again. If I had more time, I would definitely still be listening to Ben more. I would still be listening to a lot of people. I don't have time to listen to anybody or even read the news sometimes. All right, let's get into some other stuff here. Let me go to my X page really quick because I know I flagged some things for us to take a peek at. Yes, good morning, Angel, Brad, genius with common sense. Thank you, Lulu, as are you. Stop it. Let me get to my X page. Well, you guys could be a part of me when I'm just scrolling down here. This is what I retweeted yesterday. So this is what I thought we were talking about. Here's Benny Johnson. I guess this is the guy that was taken out. This is what I wanted to get to. Here we go. The New York Post. Now, it's funny they still tag it the New York Post, even though it's a California Post. It can be confusing. Sometimes you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to rereading the New York Post. They got you, sucker. It's California Post. If you're not following California Post, make sure you go do so. Really, really good content. Calls out Gavin Newsom, which is exactly what we're doing right now. Consumer watchdog eviscerates Newsom over gas prices, gives 5 easy ways to bring them down. Wait, hold on a second. But I was told it's Trump's fault. I was told it's Trump. Orange Batman guy. Okay. California drivers are paying about $5.50 a gallon at the pump. Very similar to what we talked about yesterday. Wasn't it like $5.40, I think? So up 3 cents since yesterday, making it one of the highest averages in the nation. Oh, that's just a different article. All right, never mind. Gas prices in Oakland and San Francisco are sitting at $5.60, which I'm surprised it's only $5.60 in San Francisco because that's a very expensive area. A gallon right now. I mean, don't get me wrong. You know things are bad in California when I'm like, oh wow, that's actually a really great price for San Francisco. $5.60, dude. Outrageous, by the way. Outrageous. That's a bit higher than the $5.38 people are paying in Los Angeles. Los Angeles is kind of like my area, Orange County, Los Angeles. So now you guys know what I'm paying at the pump. Advocacy group Watchdog, Consumer Watchdog, blame both state policies and the international turmoil. Gee, common sense. Thank you, California Post and Consumer Watchdog. Isn't that exactly what we said yesterday? That, gee, I'm not saying Trump's involvement with Iran doesn't have any effect into it. I'm sure maybe it's a dollar effect. What about the other $2.50 that we're paying at the pump because of your taxes and regulations, Newsom and lefties? Can you explain that one? Trump's fault. I like clean air. I'd rather pay more at the pump for clean air. So you need two different. Why do you need a winter blend? We don't have winter here. I mean, we do. But why do you need a winter blend and a spring blend? It doesn't. Our cold is like 50 degrees. Granted, there is a different type of cold in California if nobody's told you. I've been to Canada. That's cold. I've been to the East Coast. It gets cold. There's something about, and you'll hear people say this that moved from the East Coast to the West Coast. You will hear people say this about California, that there's something different about our cold, where 50 degrees doesn't feel 50 degrees. It feels colder. And I would actually have to agree with that. As somebody that has been in cold, I've traveled for ice hockey. I've lived in cold my entire life in ice rinks. Ice rinks aren't exactly the most warmest of places. I've been to Calgary, Canada, where you have a ice rink in your backyard and that you skate on the sidewalk to get to the rinks, put it that way. I've been in cold. So people go, well, you never actually really experienced cold. You go up to Canada, that's higher than any place in the United States, and you will feel cold. Okay, I get it. Some of you have been in negative stuff. I'm just expressing to you that this is a different type of crisp to California coldness that people have talked about from the East Coast. Not Brad talking about it. This is East Coasters coming here and living here going, yeah, there's something different about this cold. It says 50, but it ain't 50. It don't feel 50. It feels like it's like way below that. Somebody mentioned something about Gavin. Hold on a second. Why is my chat so small? Hold on a second. I can't see. I'm getting old. A lot of you are ripping Candace. I saw something about Gavin in here. Hold on a second. Where the hell is it? Well, if you wrote something about Gavin, put it in the chat again. It'll be at the bottom. Okay, the group noted that California gas prices are... It's amazing. People think that I read these ahead of times. I don't. Group noted that California gas prices are around $2 above the U.S. average. Isn't that what I just got done talking about? Why are we still paying $2? You know, I'm impressed with myself because it's just affirmation. It's confirmation bias that I still know some stuff. I'm not a complete buffoon and idiot. My head's on some straight. There you go. Flip that one around. You know what that was? That was like an old George Bush type of phraseology or Joe Biden. You guys know what I did there. And you're laughing about it. Consumer Watchdog's 5 proposed fixes. All right, here we go. Let's zoom in on this one. Everybody put on your glasses, huh? Oop. Put on your glasses. Here we go. Let's see what they got for us. This is what Gavin should be paying attention to. Use the California Energy Commission's existing powers to enforce steady fuel supply. Wow. Novel, huh? I agree with them. I'm just saying, like, oh wow, you mean more supply of something would drive the cost of said something down? Oh. It's almost like that's Econ 101 that you can get in Economics in One Lesson by Henry Hazlitt. Require refiners to maintain minimum inventories to prevent shortages from triggering price spikes. Yeah. Increased transparency on why current gasoline stocks aren't easy pump prices. What the hell does that mean? Increased transparency on why current gasoline stocks aren't easing pump prices. Oh, I get what you're saying. Okay, so that's more like messaging, getting out the... I don't think that would do anything. Let me tell you why. People are too dumb. They don't care. How do I know that? Because not only is there... If you go to a California gas station, they might have this in interstates. I don't know if this is a federal thing. When you look at the pump, and by the way, some people in California don't know this. You might learn something if you're in California with me. Look at the gas pump, and you will see like a small sticker. It's like that big, and it will list out the fees of what's going into every gallon. So that's why I bring up there's transparency. Oh, they're telling you as you're pumping it. The problem is people are just, they're going on with their daily lives. They got this to go to there. They got to take the kids to soccer practice, right? They're not looking at the pump going, all right, what the hell is that all about? Now I am because I'm weird and I'm a cheapskate, but you get what I'm saying. So I don't think this will help. Maybe a little bit, but they don't care. I mean, also, you guys, they voted for this stuff. They voted for people that was to represent them that would now put forth these crazy fees and taxes that now we're paying at the pump. Well, why are we paying $5.60? Well, it could be $3.60. Very easily could be $3.60, but you voted in this stuff. I don't remember doing that. Yeah, sure you don't. Just like you don't remember passing forth a proposition that allowed people to steal a bunch of stuff. So now you're upset when people are stealing a bunch of stuff, but you're the idiot that voted it in. You asked for it and you got it, and then you're shocked. Reinstate price gouging penalties for excessive profits during price spikes. That's tough. I have to mull that one over. I mean, obviously that would reduce the price, which is their point here. Okay, their point is what can we do to reduce the prices? Obviously, if you reduce price gouging, of course that's going to reduce the price. I just mean I get a little bit worrisome when we have a state telling a supplier what they can and cannot supply somebody for said price. And the reason why I say that is I look at myself. Let's say I was offering, my hat here for $20. I'm being silly with this as an example. I understand you don't really ration hats and all that stuff. I get it. Not everybody uses a hat. I get it. I'm just using an example of why I don't want somebody to tell me something. Well, maybe it cost me $19 to make this hat that I'm selling for $20. Well, you can only sell it for $19. It's like, but I also don't make that much money on it. And what is your business for telling me what I can and can't sell some product at? Does that make sense? Like, I always see it coming down later on. I'm not worried about them going after these big corporations. I'm worried about, okay, the small guy, take an inch, or give them an inch, they're going to take a mile. That's right. And government does stuff like that. It's not an insane analogy that I'm giving. It's a silly analogy. And it's a rough one because I'm talking about a hat. I just get worried when we start telling corporations and businesses what they can and can't do and what they can and can't sell. Is that necessary? Yes. Is that a part of it? Of course. I just get worried is all. I'm worried. Expand pipelines and infrastructure to bring in more gasoline and boost competition. Yeah, no duh. Again, all this is common sense. Gavin doesn't have that. The Democrats here in the state don't have common sense. And that's why we're in the state we're in, and they love it. According to the group, these steps could help narrow the gap between California gas price and the national average while accounting for global crude costs. Yeah, common sense. And it's not going to happen. Speaking of that, I mean, you'll see this guy down here that's also running, right? Eric Swalwell. You think this guy's going to fix anything? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Nah. Ain't going to fix nothing. Alrighty. Okay, so this is what I was talking about earlier. This is also in the California Post. I saw this pop up. Might as well cover it now because we did talk about it. God, look at all these. Hold on a second. I'm going to take off my camera. I want you guys to see. This is ridiculous. Hold on. Oop, no, not that one. This one. Look at all these ads. I mean, there's an ad up here, right? There's an ad right here. There's an ad here. There's an ad here. Frig, dude. What the hell is this thing? Look at this. Hey, hold on a second. Well, deviation. I saw a transformer. We're talking about it. Get off my screen. Transgender triple kill. Buckle up. Transgender triple killer removed from home with 2 foster children months after authorities were notified. Oh, this is going to be good. Transformers. Men in disguise. 2 foster children who have been living with a convicted transgender triple killer. What? Despite authorities being aware of the situation since late December of 2025, are no longer residing with the violent criminal. Reginald Ortherell. That's his last name. You guys will correct me in the chat like you always do. Who began transitioning to a woman shortly after his release from prison in 2020. You think Big Bubba is the one that helped, had a little bit of involvement in that transition? You know what I'm saying? Come in here and spread them cheeks, Reggie. Was removed from the home after heavily armed officers raided the address on Monday. Wow. Oh boy, dude, these pictures, you guys. Hold on a second. We'll get there. I gave you a little bit of a peek. It was a teaser. He had been living with a 12-year-old and a 14-year-old for several months, the outlet said. The Minister of Families and Communities of New South Wales on Tuesday issued an apology. Yeah. Our bad. We let that one slip through the cracks. Oh my gosh. You know, they get by us every once in a while. Holy lordy. Yeah. Look at this is what they said. Yeah. This is what they said. The situation, quote, should never have been allowed. Yeah, you think? Oh my, dude, I mean, how many times have we seen those in horror movies where, you know, you're a new girl, you want to get out, you want to get out of the ranch, that you grew up on with your father, taking care of houses and cleaning up horse shit, and you're like, okay, I want to have a life in Los Angeles, and you get your suitcases and there's that montage of getting on the train and there's some funky music going on and you're walking around seeing Hollywood Boulevard and then you get in, right? And doo-doo. And you get in there and you see this thing. Hi, I'm Regina. And you're cool. You're like, okay, I heard LA's like this. You're willing to live it, right? Turns out Regina killed 3 people. Yep. And then the music's ambiance is going, all right, do. And you're like, okay, I think I'm going to leave now. And you hear a little snap, right? A little click. And that's Regina locking you in. And Regina pulls the trousers down going, I'm Regina, but I'm something else, right? And shaking the little back and forth. Okay. We're having fun here. She added, who's the she? Let's go back. Hold on a second. Because you know how these news outlets do this stuff. They play this game with me and I hate it. That's a dude. Okay. And what they'll do is I don't know if they have to do this for legal reasons. Like, is it defamation? I don't know. Right. We don't need, who knows anymore. They'll call the guy that's Reginald, who goes by Regina. They'll say she in the article sometimes. I'm not saying they're doing it here. That's why I'm a little confused, is because sometimes they'll go back and forth. Like, bro, who are we talking about here? Are we talking about Regina? Are we talking about Reginald? Okay, so they said should never have been allowed. Yeah. Okay. Yes, correct. Quote, it is entirely unacceptable for a vulnerable child in the care of the state to be living with a triple murderer. This is what we're living in. This is where we're at. It should never have happened, and I'm deeply apologetic for what has happened. I am laughing out of nervousness, dude. I'm laughing because this is so crazy, and that we stumbled upon this because the simulation gods are with us. She added that very poor decisions were made. You think? Yeah, everybody's saying WTF. What else would it have been? At the time when authorities became aware of the situation and said a review is underway to determine how the terrible circumstances, terrible is their word for on audio, were allowed to happen, promising systemic changes. Yo, this is crazy, bro. The situation has sparked widespread. You gotta be kidding me. There's another photo of it. Hand to God, you know what this picture reminds me of? It was the first time I ever experienced a trans person. When I got my bachelor's, I had a bachelor's of science in accountancy from Long Beach State. Their program for accounting is really well known. So if you're ever in Southern California, around the States, and you want to go to a really good accounting program, Long Beach State has a very good accounting program. That's why I went there. So again, it's not always about the name of the school. It's about the program that they're offering. That's where you should be going. Screw the, I only go to Harvard for this. Like, yeah, but Harvard's known for this. Maybe you should go to this other school that's known for that, so that the businesses that know that school's known for that are hiring in that industry for said business, maybe you should go there so they hire you from that said thing. That's a little tip. I know we're on a little random tangent. For anybody that's in college that's listening to this, you should be going to a university that's known for said thing. Because the people that are recruiting for businesses are going to go to that university because it's known for accounting. So all the accounting firms, guess what? They're going to be going and recruiting from that university, even though it's a state university, because it's known for that program. And you'll be hired a year and signed contract before you ever graduated. I was hired my junior year. I signed a contract with the firm before I ever graduated college. I knew how much I was going to be making. I know when I was starting. I knew everything. Why? Because it was strategy. Could I have gone to another university? Absolutely. Why? And why pay all that money? So put it this way, the guys that I was working with, the guys and gals that went to USC, Yale, Princeton, Stanford, the cubicle right next to me, I think they had like $100,000, $200,000, something like that in student loan debt. You want to know how much I had? You want to know? Zero. I think I was paying like $2,000 a semester or something like that at Long Beach State back then. So that was in from 2008 to 2012. And the librarian was a tranny, and it looked a lot like this. And the only reason I knew it was a trans, and obviously I thought it was a cross-dresser, because I show up to hockey practice, and I told one of my buddies that works at the library, his name was Paul, not the trans, but the guy on my hockey team. He worked at the library. I said, hey dude, there's a cross-dresser work at the library. You guys cool with that? Because he would work at the front. That's who you checked out your books to. And he goes, oh yeah, that guy, he just dresses as a woman. He thinks he's a woman. This is before I knew about transgender, all that stuff. That wasn't even a thing, right? You don't walk out, this is like finding Bigfoot in the wild. You know what I mean? You stumbled across an alien spacecraft here, folks. This was breaking news for me at the time. And I said, how is that not an HR violation? The guy, it's a guy, he's okay walking around with like the tights and the skirt and stuff. He looked like this. This is almost identical image. I thought it was the guy. That's the first time. That was the first time I ran into a trans person, and that was odd. It was really odd. So the situation has sparked widespread backlash and calls for the resignation of authorities who allowed the crisis to continue for months. Late last year, Arthurel, who's the tranny, moved into an existing foster home in Sydney, where 2 children were already living under the care of an elderly woman. Please don't have done anything to the elderly woman, please. The children's a shoo-in. Please do not do anything to them, obviously. We haven't gone through the entire article. Please don't tell me you went after the old lady. He reportedly met her while she was working at a hospital, and he was a patient there. This can get crazy. The woman who invited him to move in as a housemate already had 2 foster children living with her under her approved placement. Okay, so I could see how this seeped through the cracks here. The tranny, therefore, shared the household with the children. She probably didn't know this guy was a triple homicide guy. The arrangement went unnoticed by authorities until the carer's daughter reportedly raised concerns late last year. Oh, hey, how's everything going, honey? Anything new happening? Well, there's this guy that likes to wear wigs and glasses, and he has this mini skirt on, and I could see his balls hanging out, and I just thought it was a little weird. There's a red flag, you know what I mean? Like, maybe the foster lady, the old elderly lady, could have figured it out with a dude, scratch his nutsack in front of the kids a little bit. Oof. Sorry I even said that. God, take that back. We'll remove it. We'll get that in post. The arrangement went unnoticed by authorities until the carer's daughter reportedly raised questions. Prior to moving in, Arthurel had built a long criminal history, primarily involving the deletion of 3 people over 3 decades. So how is this guy out then? Bro, you got to be kidding me. Who's this? That's him? No. Oh, no, that's somebody else. What the hell is going on here, dude? Bro, this is some, like, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Hey, come in. Is this the same guy? Hold on. Arthur? Who the hell is... Oh, this is the same guy. Jeez. I'm sorry. If you're on audio and you are not paying attention, we stumbled on a freaking gold mine here. And you got to take a moment. Close the door to the office. Show it on the phone. What is going on? So he's convicted of manslaughter in 1974 for reportedly stabbing his stepfather. In 1981, he fatally bashed a 19-year-old sailor during a violent robbery. And while on parole in 1995, he deleted his fiancée by beating her to death with a piece of wood. How is this thing out here? Yeah. You could just sniff it out. You could just sniff this out. You just know that as you go further in the article, it gets wilder. You know what I mean? It just gets wilder. Did we not call it together? Where it's like, there's going to be something. This is a gold mine. Oh, you could just snuff it out. You know. This is nuts. We're steep in this. We're letting this cook a little bit, folks. We're in no rush here. We're in no rush. We're going to spend some quality time together with Reggie here. After killing his romantic partner, he was caught photographing her wearing one of her dresses. This is some Jeffrey Dahmer stuff. We might get in the element of him eating people here in a moment. If you guys are experiencing issues at Rumble, always go over to YouTube. No problems. You don't have to be over at Rumble. It all works together. It all works in unison. All 3 killings involved alcohol, court documents show. Records indicate that Arthur, I'm just going to call him, spent nearly 39 years of his life in custody following the murders. Yeah. The guy, like, violently deleted people. It wasn't like, when they say manslaughter, I was thinking, okay, the guy messed up and, like, was doing 60 and a 35, and yeah, he hit somebody. Okay, that explains why, he did his time, he's out. It's a freaking terrible accident, shouldn't have been doing it, but it's not like he willfully went out and was like, I'm gonna bash somebody's head in. Do you think he was, like, dressed up like this when he did it? You know what I mean? Like, flipping his hair. I'm gonna get, what's the unfortunate, the victim's name? Do we have that? His girlfriend or whatever it was. I'll take care of it. Ugh. This is some Jeffrey Dahmer stuff, dude. This is the stuff you get from serial killers, man. I don't know when you turn into a serial killer. Like, how many do you need to be classified as one? This is some creepy stuff, bro. And this thing's living with you. You know what I mean? Late at night, you just hear something come in your room and it's dark and it's just heavy breathing you, but you're too scared to peek out. You're just like, put the covers over you as a kid, right? And you just hear Reggie just over you. You know what I mean? Oh, God. Freaking myself out here. After his prison release in November 2020, Arthur began transitioning into a woman under the name of Regina. The first public photos of self-introductions appeared on a transgender community Facebook page. There's going to be more about this guy. There's no way. There's no way. Arthur also... Look in the backyard! Start digging. Arthur had also expressed plans to undergo gender-affirming surgery. Well, at least he couldn't put his thingy into something else as soon as possible. Court documents also described that her transition has been taking place over quite some years, confirming the process was ongoing after his release. Arthur now remains in private accommodation. The hell does that mean? Where's this thing at? Oh my God, dude. It's been a while. It's been a while since we stumbled upon one of these. Happy birthday to me, dude. Holy lordy. This is crazy. Let me do this for you guys, okay? Hold on a second. There you go. There's a birthday card. Oh, there we go. Hello, Reggie. Hello, Reggie. Let's get rid of the chat really quick. I want you guys to get a good look. Yeah. All you need today, if you want a great image to send to somebody, go ahead and screen grab this right here. And you could say, happy birthday from Tranny Reggie. And then in small text, killed 3 people living with 2 foster children. There's a great image to send to your friends for a nice Friday. By the way, can we make wigs great again for us baldies? If Reggie could pull it off, so can I. So let me zoom in here. Maybe there's another image. I want to go back to these other ones for you guys. Look at this thing. Hold on. This was the doozy. This is some serial killer stuff. What's that clip with Steve Buscemi? I'm pulling it up. This thing right here on your screen, I always think of Steve Buscemi. The lipstick thing. This is Reggie. And you know I'm spot on. You're welcome. And then later on, he actually saves a life, or he deletes somebody. And Adam Sandler and Billy Madison, this is what the movie's from, Billy Madison, says, I'm glad I made up with that guy. Yep. You know, sometimes I get it, you know? The hell is going on here? Anyways, okay. Well, we don't have time to cover that other article. That I'm sorry. When you know gold, you keep digging. When you see the flakes of gold, you keep digging, folks. You don't go worry about another hole somewhere down where you're unsure. Okay, we're not going to go over that other article about Iran's supreme leader being wounded, his son getting his legs blown off. Nobody cares. That article was worth the 20 minutes that we spent on it. Hands down, gold mine. Thank you for all the birthday wishes. Wow, we were back for a full week, dude. Don't you guys feel like we're back in the groove again? You know what I mean? I mean, there's some hiccups here. You know what I mean? Like you gotta brush the cobwebs off. But I felt like we were back to our old selves today, especially with that last article, because that's the type of stuff that we live and breathe for here. You know what I mean? The freak shows. You know what I mean? Remember how we used to cover all that drag queen stuff? And we gotta get more back into that. What are these freaks doing? It's like, how do you tick? Have a little bit of fun with it. It's freaky deaky. It's disgusting. Don't get me wrong. It's all evil. It's all evil. It's demonic. Yeah, that's the. We don't need to say the obvious here on the show. Like, oh, this is evil. This is wrong. We already know that. We already know that. Okay. There's the level of entertainment value in the show that we got to bring here. And they're freaks. They're psychos. Okay. We're all on the same page here. We can also laugh just a little bit, because we'll go crazy if we don't. And if you go crazy enough, you're going to wind up like old Reggie there. Okay. Do you want to wind up like Reggie? I don't think so. So let's have a little bit of fun. I got to start waking up on time now. Yeah, thank you. Haven't had a reason to wake up for a month. Yeah, look at that. Hey, hey, if you really want to wake up, just put Reggie on your screen. You'll be woken up real quick. This is what we come for, Brad. Yeah, thank you. To be fair, I'd be kind of doing this myself, even if I wasn't doing the show. I'd be like, what the hell is this all about, right? In the same position, maybe not talking out loud, but man, I had a great time with you guys. I'm really thankful we stumbled upon that. We can go through that together. That totally made my morning. I was kind of stressed out. I'm trying to do some stuff. Like, it is stressful. I just want to do the best thing possible, blah, blah. I feel really good now after that. That was fun. And I'm really, I know I keep repeating myself, but I'm really thankful that not only happened today on my birthday, but it also, like, that's where that felt old school bald Brad. You know what I mean? All right, well, that's it. If you're not following me on TikTok, X, follow me on we have an Instagram now. So follow me on Instagram. Everything should be linked in the description. If I'm not, let me know. You guys, we only had, I think it was, we only had like 4 followers on Instagram, because I never did anything on Instagram, right? For Bald Brad. And I'm trying to learn the platform to see if I can, expand it a little bit more. You guys, in like one post, we hit like 50, 60 followers. And then the next morning we're at 200. Like, that's an exponential function, folks. That's the next platform. Instagram, I think, is going to pop off. So we got YouTube at over 100,000. We got, and that one's a little dicey, right? Because we're being shadow banned. YouTube's not going to pump out our content anymore. TikTok's at almost 80,000. And then the next platform I want to focus on to try to get up there is Instagram. So my goal is, hopefully by this year, we can get TikTok to 100,000. So we'll have 2 platforms with 100,000. And then I want to try to get Instagram up there in the 1,000 threshold, which I think we can do. So follow me over there. Appreciate you guys. Love you to death. Oh, do you follow me over there, Lulu? Hell yeah. Okay, good. Thank you for following me. I don't know how to work the platform very well, so I'm still like learning it myself, the ins and outs, how the algorithm works. So that's going to take some time. But thanks everybody for following me. Appreciate you guys. And don't feel like you got to comment on everything. That's just, if you're on it, hey, that's a platform you enjoy. Well, I'm on that now. You can enjoy it over there too. So appreciate you guys. Thank you for the birthday wishes. If it's anybody else's birthday, happy birthday, by the way. And thank you. So we'll be back here Monday. Hopefully nothing crazy happens. Hopefully there's no more terrorist attacks going on. And keep your head on a swivel. Read your Bible, read your scriptures, and the power of prayer is effective. With that being said, you guys pray for this country, pray for Donald Trump, pray for peace around the world, read your scriptures, spend some time with the Lord. Yes, Christ is King. We already know that. Jesus is our Lord and Savior. But get in that Old Testament a little bit, because it gives you a little background of the great things that Jesus came and died on the cross for, obviously for our sins, but also to fulfill scriptures. His death was prophesied within scriptures. And when somebody says they're going to do something, they actually do it, creates a little bit more trust in you with the Lord that created you. All right, folks, with that being said, have a great day. Love you. Thanks for the birthday wishes. Take care.